Good morning, students. Hello, everyone. How many of you are present? Please let us know. Good morning. Good morning. So today, Manoj sir is going to give us a glimpse and पूरा बेसिक्स जो है अकाउंट्स का वो समझाने वाले हैं. This is applicable to CA Foundation, CA Intermediate, CA IPCC, as well as CA Final, both old as well as new syllabus. So this system, ये सिस्टम आप सभी को बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके एडवांटेजेस बेनिफिशियल रहने वाला है. सो उसका आवश्यक आप लाभ उठाइए. एंड बिफोर फॉर हैंडिंग ओवर सेशन टू द मनोज सर, आई वेलकम यू ऑल टू दिस वंडरफुल सेशन. प्लीज लेट अस नो हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर प्रेजेंट. कमेंट करो आप. Comments are required. Okay. So without wasting much of the time, now I request Manoj sir to please carry on the session.
Thank you, sir. Jai Shri Ram. Yes, friends, good morning. Everyone can hear me? Rishikesh sir, my voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, Ganesh. Okay. Good morning, Sujal. Good morning, Praful. Good morning, Minu. Yes, sir. Over to you.
And my screen is shared. I also want to share the screen.
Yes, sir. Screen is shared.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Rishikesh sir, for giving me such opportunity to give something to the basic for CA Foundation to CA Final, which is required for all of, and especially for CA Foundation student, if they learn this accounting procedure, at the beginning, then definitely they all become very expert for future. Okay, so now let me start with the account. Namaste friends to all of you. Today we are going to start CA Foundation accounting concept, which is very, very basic and required from foundation to. Yes, friends, can you hear me? Yes. So today we are going to start the CA Foundation, the basic concept which is required from 11th class till CA Final, and even in entire commerce life you need these things, right? So today is the first lecture for this accounting process. Before this process, friends, I just want to introduce about the CA course, because all foundation student is just taking the initial part, the first stage of the CA, and they have many confusion, maybe they have many doubt in the mind that CA result is very difficult. We had joined the CA, but we don't know whether we cleared or not. So these thing, okay. So these thing is basically I am going to first cover, because as all you know that CA is very, very, you can say difficult and important. Means value bhi hai and important bhi hai. So mostly people think that we want value, but other thing they think that CA result is maximum 10 to 15%. So if we come under 10 to 15%, then only it is a value, otherwise no value. So friends, I just want to complete that 10 to 15% result. Reason why 10 to 15% result ICI has taken, that is not because of institute want to fail the student. That is because ICI wants something special from student. Because once CA student join the CA, like CA Foundation, you had joined all CA and you're thinking that I had joined something special course, but God just cleared it. Otherwise, I will have to face many difficulties. So at the time of joining, if you know the actual process which ICI want, so I'm sure friends, for future, you will never feel any difficulty and you can go that course smoothly. From foundation to inter to final, and you clear everything in first shot, maybe you can secure the rank also. Now, what ICI want? That is the main question. So friends, ICI had given that course not only for just you have to do the exam and complete it. It is something like a practical course, which is not only required in study, but also in actual life. So they had covered everything. That's why once you clear your foundation and enter first group or maybe both group, then you start with the articleship where you get the actual thing, what you have to do or what CA is doing in the future. So first is anyhow you have to clear your exam. So for that purpose, this is required by ICI that students should focus, students should hard work, students should have proper planning for the study. If student is lack of any of thing, that is hard work, proper planning, proper dedication, if he lack of anything, then he may be face problem in the future. Maybe he not get the good result, and that's the reason the result is 10 to 15%. Because one hand student do the hard work, but other hand, what the planning required, they don't do. Like today's session is mainly for CA Foundation, but I had offered for all CA students because this thing is required from the beginning of your study when you enter in the CA, or even when you enter in the commerce field. So now, what is ICI want and where we lack? So just we start with that part. First of all, friends, CA is definitely a hard-working part. So all you have to agree to do the hard work. Now, hard work is how much? So that is not mean you forget your life, you don't do anything in your personal life. You can do everything in your personal life, no problem. You have to devote your fixed some hours for the study. Like if you spend minimum 5 hours in a day, maximum 10 hours in a day, for 3 to 4 months, for any of means especially foundation level, if you give that time, that is most enough or more enough. Means you study with dedication, with 100% present of mind, but that much time is required. If you give that much time, that is enough. But with that, what other required, that is planning. And that planning part, mostly student lag in the CA. Because they come from the basic 11, 12 background, they don't think that what syllabus ICI can want. And you can see the syllabus of the ICI, even module, you can see a lot of things are there in the exam. Everything you have to remember here in such a way that they can ask a single line, you can explain, or you have to explain immediately. So for that, but that level of knowledge, you need proper planning. So all of you make the heading in your notebook, that is CA. That what exactly we have to do from this foundation to CA final. Because if that initial level is your excellent, then in future you will not feel any difficulty. Okay, so make the heading CA in the top of your first page, and I want all of you, you should have notebook, calculator with your hand, and one pen also. Definitely you have to write. So all these three things you should have. Even ICI material also we want, but for that I will share the question. Even I had already shared the notes to all of you. So maybe you had received notes also. I hope the notes everyone is got on the maybe Telegram link. Okay. So now voice is not clear, or I have to increase the volume. Wait. Now I think voice is Good, horrible, right? Audible. So now, friends, what you have to do, you have to write CA in the mid of the page or mid the top of the page. Divide it into two parts. One is hard work. इसके बिना काम नहीं होने वाला है. That I had informed in the beginning only. But for CA foundation student, we want 5 to 10 hours according to your capacity every day, proper effective study. Okay, so I put here 8 hours per day. Okay, if you devote your time 8 hours per day, that is more enough. Or in future, you need to take the extra burden, you can go ahead with this 8 hours per day. But 8 hours should be effective study, should be proper study, which are going to plan in the next part. Okay, means you have to study, but in the planning way, right? So second part, where most of students lack in the beginning, that is planning part. Means friends, they do the hard work, but lack of planning. Why the lack of planning? Because they do not have the information at the beginning. Now what ICI want, that we make to go into a planning, because with your 11th and 12th syllabus, we need one more thing, that is planning. Because in your syllabus, just for intimation, in your syllabus, mostly foundation syllabus are same in 11th or 12th, which you had already completed. But in 11th, 12th, that part is not there. Maybe some student has already made, but some student has not made. So that planning part, we are going to add here. What is that exactly planning? So that planning, we had divided into three parts. First is connectivity. So you can write connectivity. This is what actually you have to do to reduce the burden of your syllabus. Like when CA foundation student get the ICI module, they thought that much module I have to study. I had not even studied that much before. How can I do? So for that you have to think that foundation study is based on your 11th, 12th syllabus. So many things you maybe already know. Only you need to connect it. So before starting any chapter in CA, you always remember that something you already know. Only you have to apply same concept in CA. Because 2 plus 2, 4 is in CA also and in 12th also. So like that 2 plus 2, 4, there are lots of concept which is same. So I request always before starting any chapter, whether it is theoretical or practical, you have to use connectivity. That is, whatever you already know, just apply it here also. Concepts are same in 11th, 12th as well as in CA. And those has not done that 11th, 12th concept, that's why I'm here to complete that concept. Understood? So now, how to complete that concept? So for that, when I start any chapter, that is basic accounting we are going to do today, that is from accounting process to end of account. End of account means after that account will get over. Not only this foundation account, but entire account will get over. We are going to such thing, planning ahead. So we're going to do. But first you should know these things that you also apply, but we will apply today in session. That's why you understood that how to apply these things, right? So first connectivity, that is before starting anything, you have to think something about it, whether you had learned something about it, or maybe if you have not learned, then also you can at least think about it on the basis of your common sense. Okay, next part, that is summarize the syllabus. Syllabus को summarize करना is very very important. Basically, you see the module and a lot of things are there, but in entire syllabus, you have to learn in systematic way. That is what, that there are more than around 20 chapter in your syllabus in accounts only. And in 20 chapter, in each chapter there are 10 to 15 or 20 questions. So what we are going to do, that is called 80-20 concept. That is, we will apply 80% common in each chapter for each sum. Example, in your final account of progressive concern, there are around 20 sum. Now in 20 question, 80% part is common. So what we do, before starting final account of progressive concern, we'll discuss that 80% part which is repeat in the each question. Only 20% part is different. So for that, we will learn that question or that part 80% which are going to repeat in the each question. Okay, so what we do, summarize syllabus, we will apply 80-20 concept. Okay, where 80% common and 20% is only different in the each question. So you apply a concept like when you do the next question, you feel like 80% is repeated. So what's happened? You do the same question many times. And once you do the same question around 20 times, 10 times, then definitely when it's coming the exam, you can immediately do. But if you not apply that 80% common part, then you have to do every question more than 10 times, which is not practically possible. Because in 3 to 4 months, we cannot do that much work. So I will explain how to apply that 80 to 20% concept, but that we start with the chapter. And you have to apply that thing in other chapter as well as in your theoretical chapter, as well as in your other subject. Okay. Last part, friends, that is notes. Mostly student क्या करता है, when they study a lot, but at the time of study he not think that same study when I am going to revise in the future, how I will revise. And if that planning I have not made today, then we can't revise in the future and we don't have the option to do anything in the future. Because after that revision, after the completion of the part, when we are going for the revision, there are lots of problems we have to face. Because when we start to study, we have the limited part. But once we complete next, then first part, we even forget the ABCD of first part. So for that, it's compulsory to make the notes. And if you make that notes, that is give you future security for revision, for anything which you have doubt in the future. That's why I always say, first time, we require lots of time for study. But once you complete as per Manoj ka FR concept, Manoj ka FR brand name hai, right? So after that, for revision, you not require that much time. For revision, you maximum require 5% time of your original time. But that is possible only if you make that notes. Okay? So notes, we have divided into 3 parts. Actually, in notes, we have to make the 3 notebook. That 3 notebook include 1 class notebook, which you are going to use right now, where you writing. That is class notebook only. Second is fair notebook. That is one of the very, very important notebook, where we write that 80% common part in the each chapter. And whenever we revise it, we just use that fair book only, where we include 80% part and some basic concept, questions by which we can immediately use that 80% part in the practical question. So that is fair notebook, which I will give the homework at the end of the session, that what you have to do in the fair. Okay, so that is fair notebook. Last notebook is practice notebook. This is what you have to do, some self practice. practice. Like I explained you in the beginning, in the final account of property concern, around 20 question is there. But in 20 question, around 80% part same. So I do something 4-5 question at the beginning, but after that remaining question, you have to do your own. Understood? So for that, I just want to use that practice notebook, that in future, when you do the practice, you use that practice notebook for the self-test question, which you do your own, where 80% part is same, which we are going to do here. Okay. So friends, this is the first part which you learn when you enter in the CA. Same part you can see there are many CA final students also there. They had used it in CA final, but if they learn it in CA foundation, automatically they can use it in CA inter and CA final as well. Okay, so I consider this part is 100% clear all of you, right? एक बार इस part को फटाफट note कर लीजिए so that you can go ahead. Okay, so please note down this part first, that is CA, and then we start with the chapter basic concept of accounting. Okay, so note down कर लीजिए first and tell me कि note हो गया है. Hard work that you already do, we want planning. So if you add that part, then you can come in that 10% part, which is going to the pass. Around 10 to 15% result is there of CA. So if you follow this planning part, you can come under this 10 to 15% part. And this planning is used not only in CA foundation, but as well in CA inter and CA final, which is the next table for you. Okay. So let's go ahead. Sujal ka done, sir. Okay. Now, start with the accounting concept. Next 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to something very, very important, which is used in entire CA life. Okay. So now, relax and listen and see my example, what I am going to explain you. Okay. So we are going to start with the accounting concepts. Friends, first of all, what is accounting? Because this is enter in the commerce, and it is considered that every businessman, every big person want to use this accounting. If he not use this accounting, then he cannot control his business. So accounting exactly है क्या? Means how to identify or how to define the accounting. Since simple word, I'm just asking you some few questions. You just give me the answer. Just yourself, I will give the answer. What you're going to give the answer. Okay, I will explain. Just if we not keep the record, like you get the pocket money every day, say 100 rupees from your parents, right? Now this 100 rupees you're going to spend in the entire day. If I ask you at the evening, or maybe your parents ask you in the evening, but where you spend your 100 rupees, I'm sure you can explain immediately that I had used 10 rupees for this, I had used 10 rupees for this, I had given 20 rupees to my friend or something. You can explain. Now on the evening you had explained, but after 10 days, when your father asks you that what you did for 100 rupees on that day, maybe your memory is sharp, you can explain. But after 1 year, if they ask, is it possible? No. So what you can do, you can note down. So maybe people note down in the notebook that I had spent this much for this thing. So it become some recordable. Then after 1 year also you can say that I had spent my 100 rupees on that day for this purpose. But you talking about only 100. When you get 100 crore in a day, is it possible to memorize everything in the evening and the same day only? And if you try to write, you have to fill the lots of book. And at the end of 1 year, it's not possible to identify what you did in the first day of the year. In the same way, like example of Mukesh Ambani, all you know, Reliance Industry Managing Director. He have more than lakhs of transactions in a day. More than 500 crores rupees transaction in a day. Now you think, if he want to control on this thing, because if 500 crore transaction, he not do his own, his team is doing, whom you maybe also include, because more than 10,000 chartered accountants work with the Mukesh Ambani as per the knowledge, my knowledge. So these people are doing work for Mukesh Ambani. Now suppose you are working for him and you receive 10 crore from some party, maybe it's possible you can keep in your pocket. Now how Mukesh Ambani control it? Everyone know Mukesh Ambani net worth is in lakhs of crores. In lakhs of crore. Huh? So now question, how he control? How he manage his net worth? And if a single rupee fraud is there, he can identify immediately. How? कैसे ऐसा हो सकता है? Only because of this accounting. If he don't use accounting, then it is not possible to control the entire thing. This is accounting system by which he can identify a single transaction even he did before 1 year, before 10 years. And at the end of the accounting year, he can also identify his entire position of the business. As we do final account at the end of the year. That final account is known in CA final or in big level financial statement. This financial statement is compulsory for companies. And they present their financial statement where they identify how much profit they had earned. So from the beginning of the year till end of the year, entire data are summarized. And if they not follow accounting process, it's not possible at all, beta. So accounting process is gives something, summarize or summarization of all transactions which we do in the day-to-day life, whether we are doing business or whether we are doing personal work. Even for each individual, we need to make the account. Many people think that accounting is prepared for the government purpose because we have to pay the tax. Yes, definitely. But it is not only for the tax purpose, but also it is used for your self-control purpose. If you do not have the record of your transaction, if you do not have the record of your assets, then how you know that how much assets you have, who is the owner of that? And if it is limited part, then we can even memorize. But when it has become something big like some money, it's not possible to memorize everything. Maybe sometime somebody visit to some hotel and he don't know even if that hotel was owned by me. So it is something, that much property if you have, then you cannot control it in your mind. You have to use accounting process. So now question how this accounting process works, because this is the meaning of accounting, which is required by each and every person. And if we want to control our business, like example, when you go into many big mall, shopping mall, nowadays it's closed because of this COVID-19, but many mall is already open. When we go there mall, then we can buy anything, and when we pay to the person, he is not owner of the shop. Maybe we go in the lifestyle, we pay the something to the any on counter. He's not the owner of that lifestyle, but still we are paying, and he cannot make a single pie in his pocket. He can get his salary, but he cannot make any single pie of fraud. That is because accounting system. Because once he so that sale is done, then immediately you have to show where the cash. So you have to pass the entry, cash account debit to sale, or whatever sale he had mentioned. So what is this? This is the accounting, which gives us how to control or how to record this transaction. And this is not only for first record. Like I say in the CA, we are studying, we are doing hard work. But with that, we at the end of the part, when we going for the exam, we should get the result also. So in same way, accounting give result also. How? When we record it at the beginning, when the transaction takes place, after end of the year, we get the full account detail, that how much total sale, how much total purchase, how much our profit, how much we had expenses, how much expenses outstanding, how much expenses prepaid, how much rent we had paid. Everything we get the detail at the end of the year. So this is the process of accounting. Now, this the meaning of accounting concept. Now we are going to explain how this process goes, how that accounting goes, that we start with transaction and we get the all detail. So we discuss from the beginning of the accounting till end of the account, where account get over. After that, all other things are depend on that account. Means all account is only these that much. After that, any further accounting is based on this account. Understood? So we are going to discuss from beginning to end entire process of account. First of all, it is clear the meaning of account, because whatever I am going to discuss, everything I had given in the writing for the note purpose. Because if you not make that notes, then you cannot revise it in future. Today we are going to do the accounting process, but accounting process from beginning to end we'll explain, we learn also. I'm sure at the end of the session you will learn everything. But that is not permanent. Maybe after a certain period you will forget. But when you make the notes, you will never forget. So I will give everything notes, word to word, what I am going to explain, entire thing I had written, and I had already given you in the soft copy, but I will read also here. Okay. So now, accounting concept meaning is what? The accounting which gives record in detail, and we can summarize everything. At the end of the year, we get the proper result of our business or of our transaction. So these are accounting. Like a Mukesh Sambani, if he have a lot of transaction daily, but still he have control, and he can record everything in the proper way only because of his account. Okay. Now, what is that accounting process? अकाउंटिंग काम कैसे करता है? सो अकाउंटिंग का प्रोसेस आप लोगों ने 11-12 में बहुत अच्छे से सीखा होगा कि अकाउंटिंग स्टार्ट होता है ट्रांजैक्शन से. मींस व्हेन वी स्टार्ट अकाउंटिंग, दैट इज द प्रोसेस. दैट प्रोसेस इज स्टार्ट विद द ट्रांजैक्शन. मींस वंस वी डू समथिंग, then only the transaction happen, and once transaction happen, then only we get the further record. Means when we take that, we do the transaction, then only accounting is required. Like if you get 100 rupees pocket money and you not spend anything, so 100 rupees in pocket only, so you no need to pass any entry, only receive the pocket money, that is your first entry you have to pass. So transaction should be there. Now, what is transaction? So transaction is something, you give something, you receive something. Like when you go for shopping, you give the cash or maybe credit card to the shopkeeper and you receive the some item. So these are transactions. Now these transactions start with the accounting part. That first accounting part, all you know, because here there is no live student in front of me. You are all virtual student, but not live. So if you're in the live, then I will ask you that what is the first transaction process? So everyone can say, sir, journal entry. Yes or no? So that is the first accounting process. Means when your transaction takes place, your first part is to pass the journal entry. Now, second part, you make the ledger. That is, we can say account, which is a small part, where we include all journal entry transactions, in one single ledger. Like there are lots of cash transaction, so we summarize these cash transaction in one ledger. So entire cash transaction is come in the one single ledger. So if we think that we had make the thousands of transactions in a day, or maybe lakhs of transactions in a year, that lakhs of transactions convert into thousands of ledger. Because lakhs of transaction, lakhs of journal entry. But ledger is only one ledger for one separate account. Like cash, we make the one single ledger. Like a purchase, we make the one single ledger purchase, where we include all purchase. So it is summarized from lakhs of transaction to thousands of ledger. Now further we go. From ledger, we make trial balance. From ledger, we make trial balance. Means ledger को हमने ट्रायल बैलेंस में कन्वर्ट कर दिया. Once we have lakhs of transaction, we had convert thousands of ledger, but out of that we use only the balance ledger which we transfer into trial balance. So these are suppose lakhs of transaction we had convert into thousand of ledger, and this thousand of ledger we had convert into 100 of trial balance items. Because whatever the ledger tally, it is considered like this ledger is tally, means this ledger is done. So we have to just write only the ledger which have the balance. Understood? So ledger we had converted into trial balance. Okay, now what we do, trial balance, after trial balance we make the final account. This is what end of the accounting process, where normally we make 3 statements, but financial statement in the CA finance is a big part where we make the 5 statement. But here I see only the basic accounting part where we make 3 account. One is trading account, second is profit and loss account, and third is balance sheet. So these final account you divide into 3 parts: trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet. Where trading account we get the one item, that is gross profit. In P&L account we get the one item, that is net profit. Means Mukesh Ambani can identify from the beginning of the year to end of the year, he had made crores of transaction, he had made the lakhs of crores rupees transaction, but at the end he get a one single figure, that is net profit, maybe 1,000 crore, maybe 10,000 crore, maybe 1 lakh crores. So that is whatever they had earned, or they had net income. Means he had do a lot of transaction, but at the end he received that much amount as net profit. So these hundreds of items convert into one item, that is net profit. So he identified that this time I had earned say 10,000 crores. So this is the accounting process by which you start with the lakhs of transaction, where you keep the proper record from journal entry to ledger to trial balance to final account, and you get the net figure, so that Mukesh Ambani can keep calm and he can relax and he can sleep proper, because he have the full transaction summary and he can go any time back. Means when he want to know the profit, that profit is 10,000 crore, but he think, no, my profit should be more. So what he should do, what he can do, he can check why my net profit is this much. So he can go reverse and he can find a single transaction which takes place maybe beginning of the year. In same way we are going to make the notes, because whatever we are doing, that is at the end of the exam, means at the exam time we have to summarize like this. We have thousands, we have lakhs of, you can say, part of study, which you have to convert into notes. When notes you have to summarize, and finally you get the result. So friends, this is the basic accounting process, where from transaction to final account, our account process get over. Means our accounting is that much only. And in future, there are many CA final students also. In future, all account, further account, are depend on these only. Like if you make consolidated balance sheet, CFS, जो कि CFA ना बड़ा important topic है. Then what you consolidate? You consolidate financial statement. So means financial statement is the final account only. When you do the amalgamation, business combination, what you do business combination? You do the two business combination. You do the two financial statement together. So means financial statement you are going to merge. That is called amalgamation. Valuation. That is what? You value the business. How the value the business? On the basis of each financial statement. That is the final account. So all account in the future are depend on these accounts. These are the basic account, which is required for any future further accounting. So all these things we are going to learn today in the detail. But I am just want to inform you that is only the accounting process. And this process is required. Otherwise, like a Mukesh Ambani or like a very big businessman, they cannot control their business. They cannot control their transaction. Maybe employee get whatever money from the customer, he can keep in his pocket. But because of these things, employee even can't think to keep the money with us because they identify immediately. Even in bank, we see we deposit the cash to the cashier. He receive an entire day maybe crores of rupees, but he cannot keep a single pie with us because they know that there is an accounting system where whatever account I had debited or whatever account I had credited, that entire I have to give the detail to the next person, my higher authority. If I not give the proper detail, then maybe I will fire or maybe I will suspend it or maybe they recover from me. So whatever accounting process they follow, because of that, they have to keep everything in proper way because they are responsible for that. So if that accounting is not there, then how we can make the control? So friends, this accounting process is basically from journal entry to final account. And if you learn these accounting properly, then in future, whenever you come in the any part, whether it is your CA inter or whether it's CA final, you will learn everything and you understood everything. Okay, so now we come on this part one by one. Till here, anyone have any doubt? Please let me know fast. Till here, any doubt? This is the basic accounting part, and we are going to write the notes also. But that notes I had already written, which I had already shared with you, and we just read that notes. So accordingly, we go ahead. Okay. So till here, friends, any doubt? Please let me know fast. All you had already learned in the 11th only, huh? But I am just going to explain in the systematic way which you have to use in CA or foundation, CA inter as well as CA final. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead. Now we start with the first part, that is journal entry. So make the heading journal entries. Friends, this is the first accounting part, which is something very easy, but which is used in entire life of the CA. Whenever you find any difficult adjustment, the adjustment is solved by this concept only. Means journal entry is the main part where we use accounting initial part, and that accounting is further goes to the next part. Now journal entry have some specific rule. For that, they had divided some ledger, like you had learned personal ledger, impersonal, real, nominal. You heard about it? So these are required for journal entry. But first, journal entry, what is journal entry? Journal entry is nothing but we have to debit one account and credit other account. Means डबल अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम. जैसा हमेशा हम बोलते हैं कि अकाउंटिंग हमारा डबल अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम होता है, बिकॉज वट एवर वी डू is definitely one hand taken, other hand we have to give. Means one hand you give, second hand you receive. The rule of you can say globalization rule is also same. Whatever you give, same thing you receive. If you love someone, you receive love from other one. If you hate someone, you receive hate from other one. So that's a simple accounting principle also. When we do any transaction in the business, definitely our system will be you receive something and you give something. So one account you have to debit it, another account you have to credit it, so that that double accounting system start. And that end with final account in such a way that entire account is summarized. Okay. So journal entry is nothing but we do one account debit, one account credit. For that, there is a golden rule, which golden rule had divided, you can say, account has divided into two parts. One, personal account, and second, impersonal account. Now, personal account is what? Where any person specific be used, like any person name. So this is called personal account. It can further divide into three parts, like natural personal, artificial personal, or you can say replacement personal. Money, we can use natural person, like if we suppose make the transaction with Mr. X, then Mr. X is the natural person, right? So Mr. X name is natural personal. What is artificial personal? Which is something like is there, like a Reliance Industry. So we can sue on the Reliance Industry. But who is the Reliance Industry? It's a company. So you can say company name. Now, third is representative. या आप बोल सकते हो कि उसकी जगह यूज करने वाला. So representative personal is what? Like capital account. We use capital account for what? For the proprietor name. So instead of proprietor name, we use capital account. So this is what personal account means, where person name is there. Either directly, that is natural, either through legally, or maybe artificial, like a company name, or maybe representative, where some other account represent to other, like a capital account, drawing account, right? For impersonal, matlab something like which is not a human being or not a personal one. This is something different, like this mobile. This is the real. So what? It's real account. Now, if anything which is real, like a building, like a plant, or like whatever assets we have that we can see real, that's called all tangible and intangible assets. So when do the transaction, these things is required. So personal account may be three types. One is natural, some is artificial, and third is representative. But impersonal is something like a real. Real means which is actually can see and touch, like intangible assets or anything which is we have. Next is nominal. nominal account. What is that nominal account? So nominal account means which is actually not account, but still we are using. Like when we give the salary to anyone, what entry we pass? So we say ki salary is good, means salary we receiving and cash is going. So salary account debit to cash because cash is goes out. So now cash is credited, but salary is debited, which is not seen. If someone working with us, or maybe someone work for our company, that person we give the salary, but the salary we cannot see. He work for that, we are giving them salary. So salary just one nominal account which is created for the completion of entry purpose. Otherwise, if we pay cash only, we not mention why we had paid the cash. So it's not possible to keep the record because it's a double accounting system. That's why name is also double accounting system. Understood? So now nominal account is what we will record this transaction because of some account is not there. So that account is not actually, but still we have to use like a salary, rent. These are actually not seen. Just like we have the property, we had given it on rent. So the person who is living that on rent, he gives us rent to us. So we receive the cash, but from where? That person, not from that person, because of that house he using. So that house using, we can use the rent. Understood? So now, what is difficult in this part? So you have to identify these things, whether it's personal or impersonal. So you just think there are a lots of things that we have confusion, like cash account. Cash is real or not? So you can say yes, cash is real. But if bank is there, bank is also equal to cash. But what they say, bank cannot be real. Bank account is there. We have the bank account. We don't have any cash, but still we can use the net banking and we can make the transaction. So net banking, what is required? They require the person identification. So bank is the part of representative personnel. Means that confusion or maybe the problem is we not understand the meaning of personal, we not understand the meaning of impersonal. Personal means where any individual can identify, on which we can sue, we can ask with them. So these are the personal. But impersonal, where we not find anyone, we can use directly. Like this mobile, we can use. You can take this mobile. So this is real. But once cash is there, it is used by anyone. But bank account cannot use by anyone. Bank account can use on that person only. So for accounting purpose, what we need to identify the account. But this identification for the purpose of journal entry, but according to me, it is only for the purpose of knowledge. Because for journal entry purpose, no need to these accounting. Because in journal entry, there is a specific logic, which we are going to discuss just after that. But for that, you should know the basic concept also, that how to pass the journal entry. Because for passing the journal entry, what we need the accounting, that how the accounting work. So for that, we have divided accounting into two parts, that is personal account and impersonal account. Personal account means where there are some person with whom we are doing the transaction. So these are natural person like a Mr. X, Mr. Y, etc., etc. Artificial person where company name is there, which is not actually we can see, but still they are person like a company. फिर representative person like a other person, which is indirectly using the person name, like a bank account, like a capital account. So capital account intimate the proprietor name, but we use capital. So these are the representative personnel. Now impersonal, we have two types, that is real and nominal. Real we can see like a tangible and intangible assets, because goodwill is also real. Goodwill we can't touch it, but still it is real. So real is something which we have, but nominal is we can't see, we can't do anything. Like a salary we had paid, so we cannot see salary. We had paid salary for the work, so that salary is come under nominal account. Okay, now for these things there is specific rule, debit and credit for the passing of general entry, but we have the simple one rule, that is for passing the general entry, which is required for any of your basic accounting and in CA intern and CA final, for any of the main important adjustment. Means when you do something adjustment, whether it is consolidated financial statement, whether it is business combination, whether it is cash flow, or maybe single entry on any chapter, where you do any adjustment, you require general entry concept. And for general entry concept purpose, we have a one golden rule. There are three golden rules, but we have only one golden rule, right? What is that golden rule? So for general entry, we have only one common rule. वो क्या है one common rule? We have to think like a child, that when you do any transaction, we receive something and we give something. Barabar? So what the rule? Whatever you receive, you debit, and whatever you pay, you credit. But like a small child, because this journal entry is not used only for accounting purpose, but also for adjustment purpose, also for practical life purpose, because it's a first accounting process and very important and used in everywhere. So you have to think like a child, and you have to pass journal entry. Just whatever received is debit and whatever paid is credit. Okay, like example, if you suppose purchase a mobile, so what you receive the mobile, so mobile will be debit. What you had paid suppose cash, so cash will be credit. So whatever you receive will be debit and whatever you paid will be credit. This is a simple rule for accounting of journal entry. Is clear? Now if suppose you think that directly you will not find what is received or what is paid, but one thing you definitely find. So what you do, suppose you find one thing that is received, so what you should do, that whatever you receive you just debit. Now credit is what? Other thing whatever remain, like you receive the rent. So if you receive the rent, you receive cash. Definitely rent means cash, you receive something, so you debit cash. So cash account you had debited. Now what you credit, because you receive rent, nothing you had paid or nothing you had given, but you had given that your premises to use, but premises you had not sold. That's why you receive rent, as it is nominal account. So you have to credit something. So what you credit the rent, the to rent. So debit we write debit, but for credit we write to. So rule is, whatever we receive will be debited and whatever we had paid will be credited. If we find directly, excellent. If we not find directly, you receive or paid, then whatever one thing you find, you first debit or credit that. Then remaining thing automatically will be debit or credit. Like you paid the rent, you receive the rent, that same way you can pay the rent, you can pay the salary. So suppose if you had paid the salary, so cash goes out, so you can write the cash credit. So to cash. Now to whom you had given? To the person, but that person you had went not alone, not as a loan, but as a salary. So what you can do? Salary account debit to cash. So something this way you have to pass journal entry, not for only the CA foundation purpose, but also for CA intern and CA final, where difficult adjustment are there. you can do, or you can crack the difficult adjustment by passing the simple entry. And for entry passing, you have to think only one thing, like a small child: whatever you receive will be debited, and whatever you had paid should be credited. Okay. Now, these journal entries and whatever discussed till now, entire thing is required to note. If we not note, then it is difficult to memorize in future, because these are the basic initial part. Because I am going to jump now on question, but before that question, I just want to read the notes which I had already given to you. Normally we should write in the class, but as it is virtual class, so I am not going to write for this thing. Instead of that, I am going to read that question, notes which I had already provided to you. Okay, so now I am opening my notes, where we will read whatever we had discussed till now, and accordingly we will solve one problem for journal entry. Then we jump on the next ledger. Then we jump on the next part, trial balance. Then on balance sheet. Then today balance sheet means financial statement, final account. Then today part get over. Okay. So now I am going to read that notes which I had explained till now. Okay. So I just open that notes. Yes, friends, it's visible. Share screen is showing or not? It's visible, friends. नहीं, visible नहीं है. सर स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रही है, मतलब उसी स्क्रीन को मैंने चेंज किया, दूसरा एप्लीकेशन चालू किया है। अच्छा अच्छा, मतलब अपन जब स्क्रीन शेयर चेंज करेंगे तो उसको मतलब ऐसे एप्लीकेशन अभी पहले मेरे पास नोट था, अभी मैंने ड्रॉबोर्ड चालू किया तो वो नया स्क्रीन बदला तो आपको बुलाना पड़ेगा। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि वो शेयर स्क्रीन ऑटोमेटिक चालू रहे जो भी चेंज करना चाहे? तो आपको ऐसा स्क्रीन शेयर करनी पड़ेगी, आप अभी स्क्रीन पे दिखाओगे वो सब कुछ दिख जाएगा। हाँ तो ऐसा कर दो ना, ऐसा कैसे करूं? देखो मैं पे आता हूं वापस। ठीक। किया मैंने सर, एंटायर स्क्रीन शेयर किया मैंने। परफेक्ट, अभी एंटायर स्क्रीन को शेयर हो गया तो भी मैं जाके तो जो भी करूंगा ऑटोमेटिक शेयर होता जाएगा ना?
यस सर।
तो परफेक्ट हो गया, चलो ये जाने दीजिए, अब ऐसे ही चलने देते हैं, ठीक है?
जी बिल्कुल।
अभी शायद आपको बार बार नहीं बुलाना पड़ेगा। यस, नाउ विजिबल। So friends, whatever we had discussed, that is I had make in the notes, so we just read that notes which you have already. Okay, so now I think it's visible, right? Perfect. I'm reading. Accounting is the process where we summarize all transactions in such a way that we can get full review of our business in one shot, that is in the minimum time. Example, Mukesh Ambani, chairperson of the Reliance industry, have lakhs of transactions daily, but if he want to know the position of his business, he can get within a minute through accounting system. बराबर है? So accounting system basically lakhs of transaction को convert करते करते एक अकाउंट पे लेके आ गया और हमारे ट्रांजेक्शन प्रॉपर रिकॉर्ड हो गए। हम रिवर्स फ्यूचर whenever we want we can check any transaction. Okay, now procedure of accounting. So first transaction, then journal entry, then ledger, then trial balance, then final account, which is divided into three parts: trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet, which is basic accounting in the entire life. Okay, now friends, this is journal entry concept. Journal entry is the first accounting procedure. We pass journal entry for each transaction and we will debit one account and credit another account, right, with the same amount. That's why it is also called as double entry system. इसलिए इसको डबल एंट्री सिस्टम भी बोलते हैं। सेम अमाउंट को डेबिट करना है, सेम अमाउंट को क्रेडिट करना है, राइट? How to pass journal entry? For that, they have given the golden rule, which depend upon classification of accounts. So accounts we had classified into two parts, that is personal and impersonal. Personal have natural, like a Mr. X, Mr. Y. Then artificial, or you can say legal, that is company name something, or representative personal, that is like a drawing, capital, outstanding salary, or maybe bank also, right? For impersonal, it's a real have plant, machinery, cash, like that, but bank is the representative personal, right? And nominal like a salary, rent, or any expense name, right? Now note, for passing journal entry, basic concept is debit whatever we had received and credit whatever we had given. or pay. For that, we think like a small child, and if we get only one thing, then first we debit or credit. Not only that, remaining what will be the balance? Means first we do debit credit of that part, and whatever balance will be credit or debit again. Okay. So these are the general entry or basic part which we have discussed till now. Now we're going to pass the general entry. For some transaction, I had made the some transaction. So for this transaction, we will pass the entry on this basis that whatever received will be debit, whatever paid will be credit. And friends, this is the basic part accounting discuss going on, which is something very very easy. But you can't believe that word, each and every word you will use till CA final. So that's why it's very important to complete this process. Okay. So now I have some example of in my book, in my notes. So you just pass entry for this transaction. I hope general entry transaction is clear for all of you, right? So that first transaction is 1st April. Mr. X started his business with cash rupees 50,000 and furniture rupees 10,000. So now tell me the entry. What entry you pass? So simple. Whatever you receive will be debit. So in business, we receive the cash, we receive the furniture. So entry will be, you can pass your own entry also. You pass your own entry, I will pass here my entry. Okay. So what you do, you have to debit that cash account debit, furniture account debit to capital account, because this is the representative personal proprietor name we cannot use. That's why we use capital account. Okay. So what amount you had used? 50,000 for the cash, 10,000 for furniture, and 60,000 for entire capital. Right. Now, normally if you want to use the format, so this is particular, this is amount debit, and this is amount credit. This is a simple formula, or you can say simple format. Right. We have to write narration also. So being business start. This is the only narration. Okay, fine. So this is the general entry which we are using in entire CA life, and here also we had pass. ऐसे ही next transaction. What is next transaction? He open a bank account and deposit 10,000. So means bank account open, this bank account had been received and cash is goes out to cash account 10,000. But remember, this bank is, this bank account is same as cash, but different is bank is representative personal and cash is real. But still both are same. That's why we should use contra entry C. Remember? Then you can write the narration also. Being deposit into bank. Okay. Further. Purchase goods from Mr. Bai for rupees 20,000 and provide 5% trade discount. So what is this trade discount? We will not record that only. This is only for the purpose of deduction the amount. So trade discount is not recorded. So we'll pass the direct entry, that is purchase account debit. That is purchase account debit to Mr. Bai. Right? So purchase account debit to Mr. Bai will be how much amount? 20,000. This is the purchase. Then further, purchase goods for 5,000. Now purchase goods for 5,000 is what? It is simply purchase in cash, because party name is not mentioned, so we consider purchase in cash. So what entry? Purchase account debit to cash 5,000. Then next, sold goods to Mr. A for rupees of 50,000 and provides from 10% trade discount and 5% cash discount. That means what? कि जो goods sale किया है, that goods is for cash sale, because cash discount is also mentioned and cash discount is recorded also, right? So what entry we pass? Cash or bank account debit, discount account debit, because cash is received and cash is reduced, so the discount is also debit. That's why discount is always with the cash. You remember to say how much? 50,000, 10% trade discount, which is not recorded, so 45,000 is the sale. So 45,000 we can write in the sale. That is 50,000 minus 10% discount, trade discount, right? And 5% cash discount, so on 45,000, 5% is the cash discount. So 5% on 45,000 is how much? 2250. Then how much cash? That is 42,750. Right? So this is what? Next transaction entry, cash purchase, cash sale, sorry. Next, sold goods to Mr. B for rupees 10,000 and provides him 5% cash discount and 50% payment received immediately. That means 50% in cash, 50% in credit. So what you do? You do the cash also debit, and there is discount also. So discount also you have to debit. But party name also, that is Mr. B. HB had buy from Mr. B. Debit to sales. Means we sell to Mr. B on credit 50% cash. So 50% will be cash and remaining 50% will be Mr. B, because Mr. B will be reverse, means will be considered as a debtors and will be reversed in the future when we receive money from him, right? So how much sale? Entire is 10,000. Out of this 5%, 50% is credit. So Mr. Buy has 50%, that is 5,000, right? And how much discount? 5% discount. So 5% of 5,000. This is cash part. So 5% discount is 250 and 4750 is cash receipt, right? Now goods gets fire and goods loss of which 2,000. Goods were not insured. ये बड़ा difficult transaction लोगों को लगता है. Means what they want to say, goods get fire, so goods goes out or goods goes in. So goods out, goods goes out. So what you do to purchase, because we don't want to use new account, or you can use goods. So purchase account credit, because goods goes out. Whatever goes out will be credited. This is a rule which we have learned just before. Now what did we receive? We receive nothing because it's lost by fire. So whatever loss by fire will be debit. So loss by fire account debit to goods or to purchase 2,000. Right? This is what we are following the rule, that is whatever received will be debit, whatever paid will be credit, right? So here goods are goes out, so goods will be credited. Okay, now he paid salary to Ramu and office expense of 500 and 100 respectively. Now we had paid salary and office expense, so cash is goes out, so cash is credit. Now what we had paid salary to Ramu, so salary account debit. We had paid office rent or maybe expense, debit. So whatever we had paid will be debited, that is 500 and 100 respectively. And cash is goes out, so 600 will be credited. So this is what journal entry which we need to pass for first transaction. That's why if we had lakhs of transaction, journal entry will also lakhs of. So lakhs of transaction we had recorded. Is it clear? Now, next accounting procedure. Because this is the basic journal entry which you learned from 11th class onward. I know all of you know about it, but what I am going to do, that is from beginning to end, I am going to do the transaction of the process of the accounting I am going to follow. That first process is journal entry, right? Now next process is ledger posting. So make the heading ledger posting. Next part. And this journal entry, for that you have the module, a lot of question, around 5-6 question is there. You pass entry as per your view. But with that, we also want to know, in this journal entry, can we identify which type of ledger this is? That is personal, real, or nominal. So we also learned that accounting types, right? So can you tell me? You just tell yourself. I explain here, like cash account, real, personal, or nominal. So it's a real. So I write R. Then furniture is the real. Capital is the personal, that is representative personal. Bank is personal, that is representative personal. Cash is real. Purchase is goods. Purchase is name, but it is goods basically. So it's a real. Mr. Buy is personal, that is natural personal. Purchase is goods, that is real. Cash is real. Cash is real. Now discount. Discount is not showing anywhere, so discount is nominal. Sales is real, it is goods. Cash is real, discount is nominal. Mr. B is personal, that is natural personal. Sales is again goods. It's a real. Loss by fire, it cannot see, it's a nominal. Purchase is goods, that is real. Salary, rent, these are nominal. And cash is real. So these are, we had identified the ledger also. Okay. This is journal entry where we had make ledger type also. Now ledger posting. It's a second accounting procedure. Now friends, what we are going to do, these are the journal entry for each transaction. Now for each transaction, we have one journal entry, but now for each type of ledger or each type of account, we have one single ledger. That is called ledger posting. So that lakhs of transaction convert into thousands of ledger. To summarize it. Now cash is how much? So you can see cash is used here also, cash is used many times, but we make only one ledger for cash. So ledger costing is what? Journal entry is summarized into ledger, that is each ledger for each type of account. or you can say one ledger for each type of account. So हर एक टाइप के लेजर के लिए एक एक अकाउंट बनाते जाएंगे, लाइक कैश अकाउंट, ऐसे ही परचेज अकाउंट, कैपिटल अकाउंट. So we make each type of ledger one single ledger. Clear? So whenever cash repeat will not pass separate entity because entity already passed, but we cash, all cash transaction will be recorded in the one common ledger. Okay. So these are called ledger posting. For that also we have simple notes. We just read that notes, then we go ahead with the ledger. Yes, ledger posting. Just read that small part. Ledger is the second accounting process where we prepare one ledger for each type of account. That's why many transactions in some ledger come together and go, and we get net amount which we will use in trial balance. So in each ledger we get the sum amount, net amount, which we going to use in the next ledger. Okay, so each account should be one simple or one single ledger. Done. Now this is the format for ledger, that is date particular amount, or we can make a JF column also if we want. Otherwise, date particular amount, amount debit, and date particular amount credit. Okay, so this is the ledger format we are going to make. Okay. Now how to make, that is for note also. In account we always make two column. Remember? So always make two column, because once we make the two column, we write same figure two side. Like in debit credit we use, in the generality we use debit credit, same figure we write two side. So in same way we writing two side here also, so that at the end our balance sheet total must be tally. You know, account at the end balance sheet is tally or not? So that is tally because we do the same transaction in two side. So that is mentioned here. We write always two column, that is debit credit, or maybe assets liabilities, or maybe anything, but we write always two column. So that same thing we write two side, then definitely our account is tally at the end of the accounting year. When we make the balance sheet is tally, even trial balance is also tally, right? So what is this written? I just read it. Two column. If we want to increase debit, so we debit more. Means in two column, if you want to increase debit, then we can debit more. And if you want to decrease the debit column, then we have to credit it. Means debit credit is something like a one account. If you want to increase debit or more, then you debit more debit. If you want to decrease the debit, then you credit it. Certainly you decrease. So there is some accounting process which you should know, that how that account is effective, right? In the same way, if credit balance, then you want to increase the credit balance, you have to more credit. And if you want to decrease the credit balance, you have to debit it, right? So something like note they had mentioned. So now they had make the ledger. So we can also make ledger for our transaction, which is just I make the one or two ledgers so that you have idea. Just we make the ledger for the same question for which we had passed the journal entry. Okay. So now ledger posting. You also make, friends, all of you. Volume बेटा ठीक नहीं आ रहा है क्या? I think it's audible because मेरे को भी sound आ रहा है different way से, right? So now ledger position. So ledger posting, we make ledger for all above journal entry, so that we can go ahead with the next accounting process. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to make the ledger for each ledger separate. We are going to make ledger for each accounting separate, right? So now first of all, what you have to do, we have to see first account, that is cash account. So we have to make the cash account. Okay, so write the name of account, that is cash account. Give the name of column also, date, particular amount debit, date, particular amount credit. Okay. Now cash account is in debit side. Listen carefully, because what is we are going to take, we are making the second process where we convert these all transaction into one common ledger. So cash account is debit 50,000. So we have to write debit side, but on which name? By using the opposite name, that is capital. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are writing here in debit side whatever the date, suppose 1st April date hai. So to capital account, and how much in the amount in the cash account we have to write, but opposite name, so that whenever you want to reverse, because I told you now at the beginning, if suppose Mukesh Ambani find that there is some fraud, he can go back from the P&L to journal entry. So how to go back? So if we get ledger, and from ledger we want to make the journal entry, how we make this ledger? This is cash account. Cash account ledger is showing debit side. That means cash is debit. So we can pass the entry cash account debit, and whatever name mentioned here is credit, because in cash account it is debit side. So cash account debit to capital account will be the entry. So we can pass journal entry for that. Understood? So cash account we can pass journal entry through cash account also. So first you should know the journal entry through ledger, and then you can also know ledger through journal entry, because that's the difference between CA and normal 11-12. 11-12 also we can explain this concept, but mostly students not understand that part, right? So cash account, if we have, then we can make the journal entry also. But nowadays, now what we are going to do, from journal entry we are going to make the ledger. Okay. So now cash account is get first transaction we had make in the ledger. Now for the furniture account, because each ledger we have to make, we cannot leave a single word. If we leave single word, then definitely at the end our balance sheet will not tell. So now furniture. So furniture account we have to make. So after leave 5-6 line, you make the furniture account. Again, it is also debit. So to capital, because debit side we have to write debit side, but on which name? From the opposite side name, that is capital account. How much amount? This is 10,000 amount, right? So furniture account is also tally. Tally no means furniture account also effect. Now next is capital account. So we have to make the capital account. You say that, sir, we had already used capital account in the cash and furniture. That is basically for the cash account purpose we use capital. Furniture account purpose we use capital. But capital account purpose we have to use cash and furniture. So we have to make capital account as well. So make the capital account after leaving out 2-3 line for furniture account. Capital account. Now what we write capital account is credit side. So we write credit side. If account is debit side, we write debit side. If account is credit side, we write credit side. Because these are the ledger which we are going to reflect in the trial balance, which must be tally. So how it will tally that is debit credit must be continue with the debit credit, right? So if ledger is debit, journal entry is debit, then we debit here. Journal entry is credit, we credit here. But which name? Opposite name. Okay. So by capital account, by cash account and by furniture account, right? So in cash account, $50,000 is the amount, and furniture 10,000 is the amount, right? So we have written capital account overall 60,000, 50,000 through cash, and 10,000 through capital. So now first entry, ledger posting get over. You say, sir, for first entry we have to make 3 ledger. Yes, because there are 3 different ledger. But in future, if these ledger repeat, we not make the separate ledger. We'll put the same amount, means same ledger, the same again. Like in the next bank account is there. So bank account is debited. So we have to make the bank account. So next, after 4-5 line, make the bank account. In debit side, you write cash account. Whatever date you can write. So cash account is how much bank account we have debited? 10,000. Now bank account is complete, but there is a cash account also, which is credit side. So cash account now we not make because we have already. So in the credit side we write by bank account. That is 10,000. Understood? So what we are making? We are making just ledger which is new, then we make the new ledger. Otherwise, if it is same ledger, then we use the same ledger. Like cash account, we had used the same ledger. Right? Then further, purchase to Mr. Y. So purchase account we have to make. The debit side, so we write debit side. So make the purchase account as well. Purchase account. In the debit side, to Mr. Buy account, 45,000. ये देखिए परचेज किया है मिस्टर बाय से 20,000, not 45, 20,000, right? फिर मिस्टर बाय अकाउंट भी बनाना है, so we make Mr. Buy account also. This is 20,000, right? Now prepare Mr. Buy account. Write in the credit side by purchase account 20,000, right? So next transaction also get over. Next, purchase by cash. So purchase again come. So we use the same ledger for that. So to cash 10,000, right? And in cash account we use credit side by purchase 10,000, right? So cash purchase it is 5,000, not 10,000. So write 5,000. In the same way, purchase also 5,000. Clear? Now next ledger means next journal entry. Purchase, cash, credit, both are done. Now sale. So sale have cash account. So cash account we have already. So we just put that cash account. Discount account we have to make the new. So cash account we write debit side to sales 42,750. बराबर? And 2250 is a discount. So make the discount account. In discount account, we write debit side to sales 2250. Now in sale account, so make the sale account more. credit side by cash account 42750 and by discount 2250. You can see total is 45,000. So because total is 45 of sale. So you can check sales account have 45,000, which is same 45, right? So a 45,000 we had provided in sales account as well. Now next again cash discount Mr. B. So now Mr. B account is new and cash discount and sales are already there, right? So cash account we make. So in cash account we write debit side to sales 4750. In discount account we write debit side to sales 250 and sale account we write credit side by cash 4750 and by discount 25, right? So this is this entity we had passed cash discount and sale is only 5,000 we had passed yet. Now Mr. Buy 5,000. So Mr. Buy 5,000 we also mentioned sale by Mr. B 5,000 and we also prepare Mr. B account. Right? To sales because we have to take money back from this. So 5,000 will shown as a sales. So this transaction entry finally we had passed Mr. B, cash discount Mr. B and two sales. So entire sales 10,000 we had mentioned. In cash we had mentioned 4750 and in discount we had mentioned 250. And Mr. B we had mentioned 5,000. Right? And this is something like which use in the your cash flow in the single entry. This ledger is just like posting because when do the adjustment at the time of adjustment also we have to use the same concept because once we pass the generality we have to post it either in ledger or either in whatever ledger required. Like in final account we are making trading P&L accounts, we have to provide effect in trading P&L account, right? And if we have any assets account, that effect will be assets account. So in the same way we'll provide continuous effect, right? Now next loss by fire account debit to purchase. So loss by fire account we don't have, so we make the loss by fire account. Loss by fire account in debit side to write purchase 2,000, right? And purchase account we have. So in purchase account we write credit side by loss by fire 2,000. That's why I had to use here loss purchase. If we use goods, then we have to make the new account. So we use purchase, right? So loss by fire also done. Next, salary rent to cash. So salary debit, rent debit to cash, right? So now what we have to do? We have to make the salary account. We have to make the rent account because these are the new account. So make the salary account, rent account. Salary account and office expense account. It is not actually rent account, office expense account. So in debit side we write to cash bank 500. You write cash only because we had used cash. And to cash 200. 200 or 100? It's 100. So office expense is only 100. Right? Now the second effect that is in cash account. so that our double accounting system is complete. Now by salary is 500, by office expense 100. Okay, so with that all transaction, journal entries, ledger posting is done. Right, now second process is done, that is ledger posting. I had made this ledger posting only for the purpose of to make your confidence boost, and you know the next procedure which is going to trial balance. Right, now before that first we need to close this so that our only one balance is remain. Like in cash account only one balance remain, like in furniture account only one balance remain, maybe the account is tally also, but if balance is remain then we can show the balance. Right, so now close account one by one. This is total debit side, find the balance, you write by balance carry down. Okay, so please find the balance of cash account. How much balance in the cash account? Okay, 0 0 5 6 7 9 97,500. How much the balance? Please tell me first. You should have calculator. You should have all balance. 5,500 plus 100 less 97,500. How much is the balance, friends? Tell me first. 81,900. 81,900 is the balancing figure of cash account. Check by balance carry down. Furniture 10,000. Capital account to balance carry down 60,000. Bank account by balance carry down 10,000. In the next year, if we want to transfer, then it will become by balance brought down. Whatever, like by balance carry down, the next year to balance brought down. So next year it will be transfer. But we are starting the new business, that's why there is no opening balance. But from next year there is an opening balance. Or next month maybe, if we are making the closing monthly basis. 25,000. 25 by balance carry down 23,000. Then Mr. Buy to balance carry down 20,000, 20,000, right? The discount by balance carry down 2500. These balances will be transferred to P&L or somewhere. But caution that in the question is not that we have to transfer the balance somewhere. Caution is only we have to just get the balance so that we can make the trial balance to check whether the transaction till date whatever we had make are correct or not. Okay. So now close the sales account. How much balance is there in the sales account? 42,750 plus 2250 plus 4750 plus 250 plus 5,000. 55,000 to balance carry down 55,000. Then Mr. Buy account then loss by fire account then salary account then office expense account, right? So all balances we had calculated. Please check whether these balances are correct. Any calculation mistake you can find. Okay, so these are balances we had received from the ledger. So ledger part get over. We had make ledger for each journal entry, which is required in practical life as well. When we do the accounting process, this is the process followed by the accounting. But now that there are software also which do all this work. But if we know the procedure, then only we can do the audit, then only we can do the any work of chartered accountant. Right? So now second part get over. Ledger, I consider all your ledger are tally. Right? Until here there is no doubt at all. Any question, any doubt, please ask friends. Any question, any doubt till now? Okay, no doubt. Now make the heading trial balance. It's a third accounting process. Now friends, what we are going to do, these ledger, now we convert into only one balance. Now whatever balance we receive, like from the first ledger, cash account, the net amount is 81,900 which we had. Means we had make the transaction of 97,500, but at the end of the year, end of the month, end of the whatever period, we have the 81,900 amount in our hand. So what we are going to do, this 81,900 will be transferred in the trial balance. As name showing, trial balance means it's a balance checking whether till that transaction all are correct or not. Maybe we had make the give the one effect of any one transaction, then our trial balance will not tally. So it can identify there is any error or mistake. So accordingly we can check. When we go for the audit in the practical life, you can see there are lots of fraud or mistake. So auditor identify these mistake. Now how to know that there is a mistake? So once our trial balance is not tally, maybe we can use suspense. So that suspense we have to tally and identify what the mistake, right? So how to make this trial balance? So this balance we have to write. Now trial balance also there is two column, debit or credit, because in entire accounting there is a double accounting system. Now question, this balance is debit balance or this balance is credit balance? Because many students is also confused in this, that whatever balance received, whether this is debit balance or whether it is credit balance. So friends, this 81,900 balance in the credit side. But why it is balance in the credit side? Because more in the debit side. So you can see in the debit column, it's more. That's why balance remain in the credit side. So it's a debit balance. We have more amount. Means in the pocket we have now 81,900. So it's a debit balance. And always remember, when you make debit balance, that means next year your balance brought down will be debit side. That's why the balance carried down in the credit side, that will be debit in the next year or next month to balance brought down. So where the debit brought down is actually balance. So for all ledger, you know to identify which is the balance, debit balance or credit balance. So it is debit balance in the cash account. In the furniture account, it is also balance, debit side is more. That's why balance is credit side. So that is also debit balance. In capital account, credit's more. That's why balance is debit side. So that's why it is credit balance. Because credit is more. So in the future, it's a credit balance. Okay. So now this is capital account, credit balance. So, and same way we have to write all balances, right? So, what we write in trial balance, it's a third accounting process where we write all balances in the trial balance. If debit balance, we write debit side. If credit balance, we write credit side. Barabar? And it must be tally. It must be tally. Why should tally? Because in entire accounts from beginning, journal entry to ledger to trial balance and to next final account, we always make two columns. That's why you remember, in an entire account, we always make two columns, like debit, so credit. If we make debit column, we make credit column. Anyhow, same way, if we make assets column, we make liabilities column. In the same way, if we make expense column, we make also income column. If we make loss column, we make gain column. So always accounting system have two account. So always we make two column, that is debit or credit. So these are intimation that our account must be tally at the end, because we write the same figure in both sides. And if we write same figure in both sides, then definitely at the end it must be tally. So, जो debit and credit is intimate that we write same figure in both sides. So account must be tally. So trial balance also must be tally. And you can see that debit have the assets, expense or losses. Means debit balance is mostly for these three things only. Either it is assets or expenses or losses. And credit balance is always either liabilities or income or gain. So you also remember, if debit balance, then it is assets or maybe expenses or maybe losses. And if it is credit balance, it may be liabilities, it may be income, or it may be gain. Okay, understood. So now, what we are going to do? We are going to make the trial balance, where we write, if debit balance, we write debit side. If credit balance, we write credit side. The trial balance can be made in T form also and in statement form also. T form is something we center, we divide debit and credit. But in statement form, we write particular and debit amount and credit amount. Right? So make the statement form. So now trial balance in statement form. Okay. So how to make? We make the two column. Particular, amount debit, amount credit. Right? Now we receive all balances from the ledger, and it must be tally to prove that till that transaction all are correct. Okay. So now let me start with the first ledger. Whatever ledger we had make, first we had make the cash ledger. So cash ledger have 81,900 balance. So we write cash account in the particular column. Okay. Cash. Debit balance. So we write debit side 81,900. So 81,900 debit side is intimating that we have cash debit balance 81,900. So that thousands of transactions now convert into one item, that is cash account. Now we have 81,900. So if Mukesh Samani want to know that today how much balance in my account, so or today how much I have cash, so he can identify that 81,900 is my cash. So when we go for checking or auditing, then we can check that cash is 81,900 or not, because same amount will be transferred to balance sheet as well. That we are going to do the next part, right? So now cash account is done. So each ledger you have to find. So I am writing one by one. Cash 81,900, furniture 10,000, capital account 60,000. Now furniture have debit balance because it's debit side more. That's why balance written credit side, but it is actually debit balance, right? So furniture I write in debit side. Furniture 10,000. Then capital 60,000. The net balance I am writing, right? So three ledger I had written line by line. So all account get over, furniture get over, capital account get over. Now bank account. Bank account also have the debit balance. Purchase account has also debit balance, that is 23,000. So I write bank account. $10,000. I write purchase account, that is also balance debit 23,000. Right? Purchase 23,000. Next, Mr. Buy account. Mr. Buy account have credit balance because credit more. So we had in balance debit side to 20,000. So Mr. Buy is the credit balance. Next, discount account. Discount account have the debit balance because it's a debit side more. That's why credit side balance is written. Balance brought down will be debit. So you remember in the balance brought down, that is the balance considered. So balance carried down 2,500 credit side. That means balance brought down 2,500 will be debit side in the next year or next month. So 2,500 is the debit balance. So discount account 2,500. Okay. Next, sales. Sales have credit balance because credit more 55,000. So sales 55,000. Next, Mr. B account, that is debit balance because credit side balance is remain is 5,000, right? So we are just writing the balance, whatever balance remain, and we write very carefully because if one balance we write up in the different direction, our tolerance will not tell, right? So we have to be very careful. Loss by fire, that is also debit balance. How much? 2,000. And remember, friends, these are very small thing and basic thing. I know many students not taking it serious, but remember, same thing we are going to use every chapter. And on that time, I asked that what is the procedure. Then you ask that, sir, why we are doing this? That is not good. Huh? That's why I'm saying you just learn proper right now. I know this is very basic, very general, but still it is used in each and every chapter. Okay. Now salary 500, office expense 100. Both are balanced debit. Salary 500, office expense 100. Okay. So I think all balances we had put. We can check also. Office expense, salary, loss by fire, Mr. B account, sales account, discount account, Mr. Buy account 20,000. We are already written credit side. purchase 23,000, bank 10,000, capital account 60,000, furniture 10,000, and cash 81,900. Everything we had written. Now what we have to do? We have to check the trial balance. It must be tally, so that we can go on the final account step, जो कि हमारी लास्ट प्रोसेस होगी अकाउंटिंग की. उसके बाद अकाउंट खत्म हो जाएंगे. अब बाकी के सब अकाउंट इन्हीं अकाउंट के बेस पर रिपीट होंगे. राइट. So now take the total of this trial balance so that we can identify whether it is tally or not. Because if we had given two effect properly, then it must be tally. There is no question of not tally. Right. So in the credit side, there are total of 80 and 5, 135. Right. And the credit side, debit side, 81,900 plus 10,000 plus 10,000 again plus 23,000 plus 2500 plus 5,000 plus 2,000 plus 500 plus 100, 1,35,000. Right? So trial balance tally means अभी तक का accounting process is correct. This is the proof by this trial balance. Now friends, till that transaction or till that process we are doing or we had done is all used in the next part, that is final account. Okay, so now make the heading last part, that is final account. I think till here there is no doubt. I'm sure. So till here I consider no doubt. Please एक बार बता दीजिए कोई डाउट तो नहीं है till here. Any doubt? Please ask. Yes, friends, any doubt? Till here, any doubt? No problem. Chali. Now, before jump to the final account, I just want to use some your module question for trial balance, right? Because general entry and ledger you can make your own, but trial balance one or two some we want to do, right? So I open your module where we do some of the trial balance. Okay. I'm using ICI website. ये भी आप लोग देख लीजिए एक बार, because on ICI website everything is available. You have to go by this way, which I am going to do. Board of Study, Cotton, CF Foundation, Principle of Accounting. And friends, these accounting are very, very useful, because in practical life and even CA life, account will give you more than 400 marks in the CA life, right? So accounts is one of the very important topic, and which is connected to each other. Now I am going to open your account process, that is chapter 2, trial balance, right? So we'll do the 1 or 2 sum for trial balance from the module, so that you have some practice of the trial balance. Then we'll go on the final account. Okay. They had given one in illustration 1, they had given ledger like we had make. From that they had make the ledger. From that they had make this trial balance. So I think this is the same as we had make ledger also. They had given the ledger and they had make the balance, trial balance, right? So if you want to make trial balance from the ledger, you can make, like you can find the balance carried on everywhere. They had mentioned, like in capital account 9,500 balance. So you can see in capital account there is a balance. According to that we can write also balance. Now this trial balance they had given of the previous sum, right? So that is 9,500 capital account they had written here, like we had made the just before trial balance, right? So from the ledger they had make the trial balance. Now illustration number 3 in your module, where they had asked, I think trial balance only they had asked. So just we do this sum. Okay. From the following ledger balances, prepare trial balance of Andhra Trader or Ajon 31st March 2016, right? तो हमको ट्रायल बैलेंस बनाना है 2016 के लिए. कैसे? कैपिटल है 1 लाख, सेल्स 1,60,000, 1,66,000, purchase, and all these balances are given. Now if you don't know the balance, like a capital account have the credit balance, I had informed that debit balance have all assets, expenses and losses. Credit balance have all liabilities, expense, income and gains. So according to you have to identify which is the debit balance, which is the credit balance, and you have to make the trial balance. So let's make the trial balance for this. So before final account we do some practice. So final account को भी थोड़ा time के लिए remove. Okay, we write the trial balance for question number 3 of your module. And what is the page number of module? All you have that module, I think, which is received from the ICI 2.47. This is the page number mentioned, right? 2.47. So 2.47. Make the trial balance format, and trial balance is prepare as on particular date, particular amount debit, particular amount credit, right? Now each one by one we write balance. Capital 1 lakh, So tell me, the capital is a credit balance or debit balance? Very good. Capital is always credit balance. Capital account 1 lakh, right? Then next, sales, that is also credit balance. So sales 1,66,000. The ledger they had make means first two accounting process they had already done, right? We have to just write the balances. Then next, now next, purchase 1,50,000, sales return 1,000. So purchase have debit balance. How much? 1,50,000. Purchase 1,50,000, sales return 1,000. Sales return, just sales credit balance, then purchase sales return have debit balance, right? If sales have credit balance, then sales return have debit balance, definitely. Then discount allowed 2,000. Now discount allowed means expenses. So expenses have debit balance. The chart we had made, this chart, the debit is assets, expenses and losses, and credit is liabilities, income and gains, right? So now after discount allowed, next item is expenses 10,000. So expenses have debit balance 10,000. Next, trade receivable 75,000. Trade receivable means debtors. So this is also debit balance. Trade receivable 75,000 debit balance. Then trade payable, that is payment, payable. So credit balance means liabilities. Trade payable 25,000. Right? Now investment 15,000. So investment 15,000 we can write. Investment assets or liabilities? Definitely assets, right? So investment 15,000. Next, cash at bank and hand 37,000. So cash at bank and hand 35,000, right? Then interest received on investment. So interest received means income. So interest income is our liabilities, means credit side. Interest received on investment 1,500 is income. So income will be credit side. Insurance paid, so it's expenses. Okay, all done. So according to that, we have to identify whether it is debit or credit, because when we make the ledger, we can identify if balance is debit side, that means debit is less and credit is more. So we write balance brought down credit side. So credit side we write the entire balance also. But when they give only the balances, then it's very difficult to write the balance. So we have to know, or we should identify that assets, expenses and losses, if these are there, then it is debit balance. If income and liabilities and gain are there, then it's a credit balance, right? So accordingly we have written. So take the total. One lakh 1,500. So I first take the total of this side. Wait. Hello. 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 Yeah. Sorry. Okay. 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 Yes. How much total? 1,166,000. फटाफट बता दीजिए फ्रेंड्स. 2,66,000. जो लोग करते जा रहे हैं बोलते जाइए आंसर भी. 25,000 plus 1,500. 2,92,500. 2,92,500. Same should be here. 1,50,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 10,000 plus 75,000 plus 15,000 plus 35,000 plus 2,500. 2,90,500. It means there is some mistake, right? 1,50,000 plus 13,000, that is 1, 2, 3, plus 75,000 plus 15,000 plus 35,000 plus 2,500. So 2,90,500 balance हो रहा है. But here 2,92,500. That is 2,000 is the difference. We check once again so that there should not any such difference. But if there is difference, then we don't have any option. We have to consider it suspense because we don't have the idea about these balances. If we are making from journal entry to ledger to make a trial balance, then we can identify the mistake. But if we don't have the idea, then that amount can be transferred into suspense account. That is 2,000, which is credit side, and our balance is 292,500. 292,500. Subject to if we had not make the put any calculation mistake. If we had made the calculation mistake, then it is our fault. But if there is no mistake, if we had used all transaction as it is, but still trial balance is not tally, that is not our fault because we don't have the idea about the first two parts, that is journal entry and ledger, right? So maybe they had also did the same thing. Let's see that trial balance is tally or not. That trial balance is tally 292,500, 292,500. So it means we had made the mistake in the total. 150, 1, 2, 10, 75, 15, 37. Let's take the total of this also so that we have idea. 1,50,000 plus 3, 1, 2, 3, 10, 13,000 plus 10,000 plus 10 plus 75 plus 15,000 plus 37,000 plus 2,500. The total is tally 292,500. Then why are not tally? Take the total again. 1,50,000 plus 13,000. Friends, you also make the total please so that Any calculation mistake can be identified. 75,000 plus 15,000 plus 35,000. This is 37,000. We had written 35, I think. This is 37,000. Cash at bank and hand. What are they given in the question? It's 37 or 35? Oh, it's a 37,000. See, this is 37,000, which is we have written 35,000. So definitely our account will not tally. Understood? So we should also write 37,000. Otherwise, definitely account will not tally. But it is the balances given, so maybe it's possible that the account is not tally. Then we have to write the suspense, right? But if we making account from the beginning, that is general entry ledger, then it's our responsibility to make that tally. Clear? So now here it's 37,000, then it's become 292,500. So here account is tally, no need to suspense. Is it clear? So cash at bank and hand is 37,000, but we have written 35,000. That's why account is not tally. That's why trial balance is not tally. Okay. So any calculation mistake can be identified by trial balance. If in general entry in ledger there is some mistake which we don't know, then there is suspense account, like that we had used 2,000. But if there is no mistake in this general entry and trial ledger, then it must be done. So this is the accounting process by which we can identify any error, any mistake. Like you said, Steve, that we had written 35,000 instead of 37,000. That means this account is not tally by 2,000. Difference is 2,000. So we can identify this. If there is possibility of identification, we can identify. Otherwise, we make the suspense. Okay. Then, friends, all of you clear? Now let's come to the next part. We do the one more sum for this because these are the trial balance, very small topic. And if we do this practice, then it gives us more confidence for the basic accounting, right? So let's do the illustration number 4. One of our client, Mr. Singhania, has asked you to finalize his account for the year ended 31st March 2016. Okay. Till date, he himself has recorded the transaction in books of accounts. Okay. As a basic of audit, Mr. Singhania furnished you with the following information statement. Means he had make his own account and he don't have that much information about accounting. But he had given you the statement which he had prepared. Now he want to audit. As I had informed you that chartered accountant is not only part of the just accounting. We are main auditor, we are main checker, whether they are correct or not. Because all transactions nowadays can do through software. But still, when we go for the audit, we should know the accounting process. Then only we can check. Then only we can do the audit. So these things we have to show. So now, audit is what we have to check whether these audit means these statements are correct or not. So accordingly, we should know what is debit balance, what is credit balance. We know all. Debit balance is assets, expenses, and losses. Credit balance is what? Liabilities, income, and gains. So accordingly, let me identify the parts so that we can correct him. Singhania capital, credit side, it's correct. Singhania drawing, debit side, it's also correct. Leasehold premises, debit side, yes, correct. Sales, credit side, it's correct. Due from customer. Now, due from customer means what? We have to taken from the customer. That is our assets. So this is mentioned credit side. It's wrong. So that 530 we have to write debit side because due from customer means we have to taken from customer. It's our trade receivable. It's our trade receivable. So we have to write debit side. Now purchase 1259, that is credit side, correct. Purchase return, that should be credit side. Means purchase is debit side, but purchase return should be credit side. So this is the wrong. So one item this wrong, second item this wrong, right? Next, loan from bank, credit side, definitely liability is loan, should be credit side. Trade payable, this is trade payable, we have to give, it should be credit side. So this is the third mistake, right? So trade payable should be credit side. Now trade expense is debit side, correct. Cash at bank, correct. Bills payable, it is credit side. Bills payable should be credit side. So this is the fourth mistake. He had made fourth mistake, right? Next, salary and wages, debit side is correct. Then investment, 1/4/2015. It's investment opening, they are saying. Sorry, salary. Inventory, not investment. Inventory. Inventory opening should be assets, right? So it's a fifth mistake. So 264 should be debit side. So it's a fifth mistake. Rent and rates, correct. Sales return. Sales return should be debit because sales is credit, then sales return should be debit. So it's a sixth mistake. So overall 6 mistakes are there. So we have to correct these 6 mistakes. That 98 should be debit side, not credit side. And again, we had discussed all 5 above. So overall 6 mistakes are there. So we have to correct these 6 mistakes. Is it clear? Am I right? Yes? Okay. Now, the closing inventory on 31st March 2016 was valued at 574. Okay. Mr. Singhania claimed that he had recorded, because his trial balance is tally. See, after 6 mistake also his trial balance is tally. That means trial balance may be tally after certain mistake. Because one mistake is rectify other mistake. That is covered under rectification of error chapter, which we are also going to do. So rectification of error is what? Whatever we had made the mistake, you just correct it. So we are going to correct it. Whether his trial balance is tally. But still there are 6 mistakes which we are going to correct. Okay. Now, Singhania claimed that he record every transaction correctly as the trial balance is tallied. Check the currency accuracy of the above trial balance. तो फ्रेंड्स हमको उसकी एक्यूरेसी चेक करनी है. एक्यूरेसी क्या चेक करनी है? हमको उसको करेक्ट बना के देना है कि देखो भाई ये करेक्ट होना चाहिए. बराबर? So let's do the correct part. Okay. How to do? So we make the trial balance again in the same way. And we always write answer to question number this in the top. Okay, so write now answer to question number 4. What is the page number? 2.48. 2.48. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are making the correct trial balance. So correct trial balance, as there are 6 mistakes, right? What is the correct trial balance? So for that, we should know the trial balance date. 31st March 2016. As on 31st March 2016. Okay. So now make format for trial balance like we had made just before. Whatever correct, we have to write as it is. And whatever wrong, we'll write correct. Means we do correct it. Right? So now we write one by one all trial balance items. First item, share capital, which is correct, but still we have to write. That's why trial balance will be tally again. So share capital 1556. Next, Singhania drawing, we can subtract it from capital also, but we write debit side, no problem. 564, right? Or 564. 564 drawing, right? Next item, leasehold premises 750 correct है. Leasehold premises 750. Next, sales, credit side 2750 correct है. 5,750. Next, due from customer. This is the wrong first part. That is debtors due from customer 530. So due from customer. So this should be 530 debit side, not credit side. So it's a first mistake. Purchase 1259. It's correct. So 1259 purchase debit side. Correct. Next, purchase return 264. It should be credit side. If purchase is debit, then definitely it should be credit. It's a basic part. 264. Purchase return 264. 264. Next, loan from bank 256. It's correct. I have to just put the battery. Yes, loan from bank 256. So it's a credit side, right? Loan from bank 256. Next, trade payable 528. It's wrong. It should be credit side. Trade payable. $528. Right? Now trade expenses 700. It's correct. Debit side. Trade expenses. Next, cash at bank 226. It's correct. Cash at bank 226. Right now. Next, bills payable 100. It's wrong. Bills payable 100 is wrong. Credit side. Bills payable 100 should be credit side. Right. Next, salary and wages 600 is correct. Salary and wages 600 is correct. Now inventory, it should be debit 264. So now next, rent and rates, it's correct 463. Rents and rates 263. Then sales return, it's wrong. 98 should be debit. Sales return. Okay. So now we have corrected it. Right? What do you now? Take the total again. Everything is done. Yes. So now make again total, friends. It must be tally. Subject to, there is no any calculation mistake. Right? So take the total fast, friends. You all also take the total. Please give the answer fast me, so that I can understand you are doing the sum with me, and also with the basic speed. Right? Because you have the module, you can do directly. Okay. So take the total. First I am taking the total of debit. You take the total credit. Okay. So that account is tally. 564 plus 750 plus 530 plus 1259 plus 700 plus 226 plus 600 plus 264 plus 263 plus 98. So 5254. 5254. Now take the total of credit side. Yes, आपका है friends credit side का total 1556 plus 2750 plus 264 plus 256 plus 528 plus 100. Yes, 5454. It's again difference of 200. 5454. It's 5454. It's 5254. So maybe we had made the calculation mistake, or maybe because we had written the item from one place to the place, so maybe there is some difference which we can transfer into suspense account. Like this is 200, right? So let's see how much should be total. 5454 total हो रहा है क्या? So accordingly we can identify. Yes, 5454 total is there. So I think in credit side we have written something. No, debit side we have written something wrong because there is 5254 only, right? So we can cross check also in the calculator. First word 564, 750, 530, 1259, 700, 226, 600, 264, 263 and 98. Let's check with this item so that we can cross check that debit side item 263. Yes, rent and taxes. Sales return is also debit side. We have written sales return 98. See, yes. So 98 we have written. 263 also written. Next 264 also written. Next salary and wages 600 written. Bills payable नहीं आएगा. Cash at bank 226 written. Trade expense 700 done. Now loan from bank credit side, purchase return credit side 1259 return. Due from customer 530 return. Leasehold premises 750 return. Singhanian drawing 564 return. Perfect. So it is correct. Then why it is not tally? Let's check. 564, 750, 530, 1259, 700, 226, 600, 264, 263 and 98. So maybe total is, this total may be also different, right? Let's take the total of this sum. 564 plus 750 plus 530 plus 1259 plus 700 plus 226 plus 600 plus 264 plus 463. 463. It's 463 they had mentioned, but here they had mentioned 263. No, it is 463 only, but I think we had written 263. Hello. $463. Okay. It's a 463 rent. We had written 263. Even after checking also we are writing the same figure. It's a 463. Rent and rates 463. Right? So this is the mistake which maybe happened. We are reading it 263 every time. You will be checking it, but still we are reading it 463. 263. Right? So it's 5454. Right? So now friends, trial balance, it must be tally, but when we are making from the beginning to end, then it must be tally. But when we are making from balance sheet, it may be not tally. Then we have to put the suspense account. And there is a question in your module where there is a difference in the trial balance which is showing in suspense account. Okay, so I hope trial balance is clear for all of you, because a small mistake can be identified by this, but still trial balance may be tally, but still there are 6 mistakes in the existing question. So we have to be careful कि every time we should go did the correct thing, because it may be possible that one mistake is rectified by another mistake. So that is not shown by the trial balance. That's why when we discuss the topic rectification of error, on that time, when we discuss the topic rectification of error, on that time, we can check how to rectify these mistakes, right? So now here we had checked directly, cross-check with the questions that question amount had mentioned 463, but we had written 263. So accordingly, we can also rectify if it is done and we had transferred to suspense account. Then after certain period, when auditor come, they can also rectify that error by using rectification of error chapter, which is separate. Okay, we'll discuss separate, but after final account. Now we are going to jump now on final account, because final account is what which we are going to do the last process of this account, right? So now last process of account, after that all account get over, which is final account. Okay, so let us start with the final account now. Remaining question you can try your own, nothing special, just trial balance we have to make, and I think also illustration get over. Now there is some MCQ or some test and knowledge question that you do in the homework. Okay, so practice question, you do the homework. There is one question only, and he had mentioned also drop the correct trial balance, debited, credited, any residual error to a suspense account. If any difference, then it should be transferred to suspense account, right? So here there is some difference will arise, so that will be transferred to suspense account. So you do in the practice, it is your practice book homework, right? So one practice question you can do in your practice for trial balance, right? So now let's we jump to the final account. Okay, or before it you won't break, huh? So after break can we do, because right now what we are going to do, we do this sum also. Okay, so that then we take the lunch break, then we do the sum remaining part. Okay, so let's do the question 1 of test your knowledge, that is practice question. Okay, so first do the practice question, then we come to the final account. This is the last question of the trial balance. Okay, an experienced bookkeeper has drawn up the trial balance for the year ended 30th June 2017. Okay. Provision for doubtful debt. That provision for doubtful debt is what? Opening trial balance, opening provision for doubtful debt. That should be credit balance, right? But still, that provision for doubtful debt, if we had made for current year, then it may be expenses also. But that depend on the question. Let me come on the question, then we identify the mistake, right? Bank overdraft, that is clearly mentioned. Overdraft is our liability, but they had mentioned debit side. It's wrong. Capital correct. Trade payable correct. Credit side. Trade receivable correct. Debit side. Discount received, it should be credit side. Discount allowed expense should be debit side. So it should be credit side. It should be debit side, right? Then drawing, it should be debit side. Office furniture, it should be debit side. Correct. General expense, it should be debit side. It is wrong, right? So general expense should be debit side. Am I right? Okay. Purchase, it should be debit side. Correct. Return inward. Return inward is what? Goods inside. When it's goods inside, when it is sales return. We had sale, it's come back. That is called return inward. So it's a sales return. If sales come in the credit side, then sales return should be debit side. Am I right? Yes. So sales return should be debit. it's credit. It's wrong, right? Next, rents and rates, it's debit, correct. Salary 2520, it's correct, debit. Sales 16,882, it's correct, it should be credit side. Inventory, it should be debit side, it's correct. Provision for depreciation on furniture. Now this provision for depreciation on furniture is opening furniture, opening depreciation balance, so it should be credit side, right? So what we should do, provision for depreciation on furniture should be credit side. Okay, so that is the wrong. And provision for doubtful debt we consider, it's a opening balances, so that should also goes to the credit side. So provision for depreciation as well as provision for doubtful debt both should be credit side, and these are mentioned in the debit side, so correct it. Remaining thing you can do directly, right? And I think in question, get over, yes, drop the correct transaction trial balance, and then any mistake, anything different, you can transfer to suspense account. Okay, so you want to do, I should do it, because हम बार-बार write from this page to this page, there may be some mistake, but still you can solve your own. But still, if you want, you can solve, right? So I think there is nothing special. We had already discussed everything, so you can make your own. Okay. Now, before lunch break, I had planned to give the introduction about the final account, because it's the last accounting process. So if you do the last accounting process correct, then mostly accounts part get over, right? So let's jump to the final account finally. After discussion, we'll take the break. Okay. So now final account. Friends, it's the last accounting process, and all you know, after that, I told you from the beginning, accounts get over. Means all accounts get over. Now this final account is either proprietor, either company, the concept, the logic remains same. Only the format, presentation are different, because in company there is a schedule 3 format, or for new course as per India there is a division 2, but for old course it's a normal schedule 3. So format is different, but concept are same. So final account, it's the last accounting process. So now in the last accounting process, after that all account get over. Means there is no other chapter after that. So this is the last accounting process. Definitely you should learn and you should understand it properly. Now, what is final account? Which gives you the one figure. Like here we writing in trial balance a lot of things, but still Mukesh Ambani don't want to see all these things. He want to know the end result, that what he had earned in an entire year or entire period. So these are given by this trial balance, by this final account. These final account means where we get proper accounting, where we transfer these trial balance into trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet. Why? Because these trial balance are now bifurcate what is the item which is a write-off or maybe get over in the same year, and what are the balance which will carry forward in the next year. So whatever the balance carry forward in the next year, these are known as balance sheet item. You know, balance sheet, balances ka sheet. So whatever balances remain at the end of the accounting year, first transfer to trial balance. But after trial balance is further bifurcate whether it is going to carry forward for the next year, or it is in revenue nature, which is transferred to P&L account or trading account and get over. So now this trial balance is further we divide into sequence, revenue item and capital item. For that also you have one unit for the CA Foundation student. What the unit saying, that capital nature item will be transferred to balance sheet, that will be transferred to next year, because these are not get written off entirely in the same year. But some item which is in revenue nature or maybe normal expenditure, which we have to write off in the same year. So these are revenue items which will include in the trading account and P&L. So what we have to do, we have to just divide that trial balance that I'm now saying final account into two parts, not two, into three parts. That is trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet. What we include here, all revenue, nature, expense, and income, which is going to write off in the same year. Like salary we had paid for this year, that is expenses of this year. Now next year, what are all of this? But if any salary outstanding, if any salary prepaid, which is used in the next year, that will transfer to balance sheet. So any capital nature balance, from where? From the trial balance. Because first we had complete journal entry, then we had complete, tell me, ledger, then trial balance. Then trial balance is further divided into three parts, that is trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet. So all revenue nature item will transfer to this trading account and P&L account, and capital nature item will transfer to balance sheet, which is used in the next year. Now in revenue item, what is transferred into trading account? What is transferred to P&L account? So trading account we transfer all direct nature item, means which is directly related to sale purchase or directly related to goods, that is sales, purchase, direct expense, that is freight inward or carriage inward, and opening and closing stock. And if any direct royalty, if given specific, then these items will be transferred to trading account, where we get gross profit. Remaining all indirect expense and income, which is in revenue nature, should be transferred to P&L account, where we get net profit or maybe loss. So these items we will divide in two parts. These revenue item is first trial balance item we transfer into two parts. One is revenue, one is capital. The revenue nature item will shown in the balance trading account and P&L account, which gives us whatever profit or loss, and which is related to this year only, which is not going to carry forward the next year. And balance sheet item, which is capital nature, will be carried forward in the next year, so that will be transferred to balance sheet. So any item which is not used in this year, it need to transact in future, so it will come in the capital. It will come in the balance sheet. It will come in the capital nature. But any item which is going to finish in the same year, which is come in the trading and P&L account. Okay. Now, the trading and P&L account, there are direct expense, means direct item or indirect nature. So direct nature item will come in the trial balance, trading account, which gives the gross profit, like a sale, purchase, opening stock, direct expenses, carriage inward, or if any royalty. But indirect nature expense or income, like a salary, rent, which is not directly related to the goods, which is transferred to trading and P&L account, and from P&L we get the net profit, which will transfer in the balance sheet, because net profit, definitely our net earning, that should be given to the proprietor, given to the owner, given to the Mukesh Ambani, if it is Ambani business. Okay. So these are balances we have to divide in such part. Now we are talking about now official final account for the CA foundation purpose. So what is final account? So they had divided final account in two ways: non-manufacturing entity and दूसरा manufacturing entity. Non-manufacturing entity means they are just doing trading only. So they are just doing trading only. What is trading only? The goods purchase and sell. They buy the goods, they sell the goods. They buy the lower price, sell the higher price, or maybe vice versa. Their market situation maybe. So this is called just non-manufacturing entity. Means their work is not to manufacture, but whose work is to do manufacture, that will come in CA Inter and CA Final in the costing chapter. So if we using manufacturing entity, then we have to prepare manufacturer account as well. Means in addition we have to prepare manufacturing account compared to non-manufacturing. So in non-manufacturing account we have three type of ledger, that is trading account, P&L account and balance. But in manufacturing these are same non-manufacturing entity. But in addition we have to prepare manufacturer account as well. And which manufacturing account in future in CA Inter and CA Final it's become costing, which is separate subject, separate topic. Very interested topic, very interested subject. So now here we have to do first non-manufacturing entity, trading account, P&L account and balance sheet. Then we do manufacturing entity, only manufacturing account, because trading account, P&L account and balance sheet are same, as we had already used. Right? So in trading account, P&L account and balance sheet, it's the main final account. Manufacturing account is a part of costing, which is not so huge because it's a separate chapter, separate subject, which you will learn in the future in the CA Inter and CA Final. Okay. So now friends, how to prepare this trading account, P&L account and balance sheet? We come on that part. Because these type of question in ask in the CA foundation around 10 to 16 marks. So these type of question you have to learn with that 80% common part that I had discussed in the beginning. Because in Generality, ledger, posting, trial balance, these are just basic part, which is directly not asked in the exam. Maybe they can ask a small part, like in ledger they can ask whether it is personal ledger or impersonal ledger, personal whether it is natural personal or whether it is artificial or legal personal or whether it is representative personal. But in exam they ask definitely, maybe trial balance they can ask, basic trial balance, but mainly they ask trading and P&L account, and that final account part is continue in CA Inter also, which is known as single entry in the accounting from incomplete record in the CA IPCC. And in CA Final, it will come under with the analysis of financial statement. It is in CA Final new course syllabus, right? So that final account we have to learn, because all account are depend on these final account only. As I'm saying from the beginning, these final account you have to learn in such a way, because these final account is not used only in foundation but used in everywhere. So these final account you have to learn in proper way and make such good notes, so in future whenever you want to revise, you can revise within a maximum 10 minutes or 15 minutes entire final account notes, right? So now friends, you all know these final account because you are making from beginning, right? These final account is basically our net profit and loss, or you can say net business position, which is shown at the end of the financial year, maybe end of the year. Under trading account, we receive the gross profit, and P&L account we receive the net profit, and balance sheet we transfer the item which is next year, that is assets and liabilities balance remain, or maybe any balance which is remained, which is not used in this current year, will be transferred to balance sheet, and balance sheet must be tallied at the end of the period. Right? Now, how to make these accounts? So for that, we had made 3 steps. On these 3 steps, you have to apply, and you can complete your this final account very smoothly. Because when it comes, when it talks about any big topic, then we have to make the fixed step. Because now final account is a small big topic. So that we have to make the fixed step. So how to solve the problem? So we'll solve how to solve the problem. So we'll solve in 3 steps, right? Step number 1, format. And these steps are making by my own. It is not mentioned in the balance in your module or anywhere, because these are fixed system which we are going to follow. And you all know that ICI has given the very nice question. We should not go out from the ICI material, because ICI material is the best option. But ICI question is good, but solution we have to do as per our method. That's why I had made the fixed step in our own words. So now step 1 is format. What is format? So we have to make the format for how to solve the problem that final account. First we should make the format before starting the question. That format is fixed for how much page, where we have to make the trading P&L account, where we have to make the balance sheet, because these balance sheet and trading and P&L account are going to use an entire CA. So now trading account, P&L account, we had explained in the small way, but I have made the notes for that. So we will read also notes, all these things in the detail, that how the trading account format, how the balance sheet, P&L account format, how the balance sheet format. But here we writing how to solve the problem. Okay, so we'll solve problem in 3 steps. Step 1 is format, that is on first page we will make trading and P&L account, full first page, only for trading and P&L account, right? Second page, 3/4, we will make balance sheet. Which balance sheet? Normally closing balance sheet. Because they give the trial balance, then it is easy to make the final account. Because in IPCC, in CA Inter, you not get the trial balance. They give the just information, that is called accounting from incomplete record, single entry. So for that, you have to make opening balance sheet as well. But here no need to make the opening balance sheet. So we make the closing balance sheet, and any working note, any adjustment, so make the working note for that, right? And then working note for each adjustment. हर एक एडजस्टमेंट का एक वर्किंग नोट बनाना है छोटा सा, सो दैट ये क्लियर हो जाए कि आप लोग फॉर्मेट में whatever is extra given for the working note, you can make the working note, right? Like adjustment they given, so we pass the generality for the adjustment, and accordingly we make the ledger if anything required. Otherwise we provide the information, or we provide the answer effect, that adjustment effect in the trading account, P&L account, or maybe in balance sheet. Okay, so step 1 is this. Now step 2 is what? We'll make the start problem, right? So start problem with adjustment and give 2 effect for each adjustment, and give 2 effect for each adjustment if 2 effect for each adjustment लिख दीजिए, and then remaining trial balance item only one effect. Means for adjustment you have to provide two effect, but adjustment trial balance item you need to provide only one effect. Why? Because in the trial balance we had already given two effect, but adjustment is totally pending from the trial balance. So we have to provide two effect. Our balance is not tally. So that's why we should give adjustment two effect and trial balance item only one effect. So we start problem with adjustment and finish the adjustment. After finishing of adjustment, you check the trial balance item and trial balance. Any item should be only one effect because trial balance had only two effect we had given. Right. Then finally step 3, that is closing procedure. Means after finishing all adjustment, after finishing all trial balance item, you close, where you first close any working note, then trading account, then P&L account, you get the net profit. Here you get the gross profit, here you get the net profit, and finally balance sheet, which must be done. Right? So these are the steps which we use for the solving the problem. But before that, we had discussed all what is trading account, what is P&L account, what is balance sheet in detail. So these things I had make them mention in the notes. So we just read the notes so that you clear with the all your doubts and how the trading account format, how the P&L account format, how the balance sheet work. And these are the end of account, so that you should know that after these account, all account are depend on these account, but not any extra. Because if you make consolidation financial statement in CA inter as well as CA final, you make financial statement consolidate. So you should have consolidated, you should have financial statement. And they maybe give us the wrong financial statement. We have to correct it. So we should know the financial statement, then only we can make the correct. So now, before step how to solve the problem, we will learn, we will write all notes for final account, which I had given in the notes which I had already given to you. So just read the notes so that we get the proper idea of final account. These are the basic part where we use in the other chapter, like in the rectification of error, etc., etc. But now I am jumping to the final account. Okay, so it's a rectification of error. Yes, preparation of final account. So whatever we had discussed, first we write the proper way, then we will make the final account. Okay. It's a last procedure of the basic accounting, as I told you from the beginning, where we will arrange all transaction in final account and get final position, that is net profit for the period, and balance sheet position. Right? For preparing of final account, we use accrual system, that is not cash system. बराबर, because final account हम accrual system base पे बनाते हैं, ना कि cash system पे. So any balances, any outstanding prepaid will be adjusted here, right? Non-manufacturing entity or manufacturing entity. Non-manufacturing entity use trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet. Trading account, all direct expenses, we get the gross profit. All indirect expenses, we get the net profit. And balance sheet, we get the assets and liability balance, right? Then manufacturing entity, trading account, P&L account, means manufacturing account more they use, right? Then any outstanding salary and any change in the P&L account, how we write? Like a salary paid plus outstanding salary less prepaid salary. So we get the net figure, which we write in the trading account or P&L account, so that it is showing accrual system, right? Accounting treatment. Accounting treatment is the preparing final account, where include the following thing, that is trading account. Here we include all direct expenses, direct cost, and purchase and sales indirect expenses with stock. It gives us gross profit, right? फिर उसका एक फॉर्मेट बना दिया छोटा सा जिसमें कौन कौन सा आइटम आएगा. You can see the format: trading account, P&L account, and in trading account format, that is opening stock, purchase, wages, carriage inward, carriage outward, direct expenses. You can say wages, sales return, then closing stock, and you get the gross profit. Then profit and loss. It is started with gross profit, and it will include all revenue and income expenditure. Income expenditure not cover under trading account. Definitely, if we cover in the trading account, will not come in the P&L account. It gives us net profit for the period, right? So it is net profit. So we can make the P&L account, gross profit, all indirect expenses, all indirect income, and we write balancing figure, right? ये all income है, not expenses, right? So this is all indirect income, right? All indirect expense यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, and then get the net profit as a balancing figure. Okay. Then for the balance sheet, its name showing balance sheet, that is whatever balance remain at the end of the each year accounting period is shown in the format is called balance sheet. At the end of the accounting period, whatever the balance remain will be written in the balance sheet. In financial term, balance sheet means the statement which is showing overall position of the assets and liabilities as on specific date, right? For the preparing of the final account at comment in the specified format given in the Schedule 3 of the Company Act, but here we make the format not is not mandatory, but we can make as per our T form also because it's the final account of manufacturing company, right? Then there is the balance sheet format where we write the all capital, profit, drawing less, then secured loan, unsecured loan, creditors, and everything. And then asset side, fixed assets, tangible assets, manufacturing, furniture, goodwill, patent, copyright, trademark, etc., etc. And then balance sheet must be done, right? So now these are the things which you should know in the final account about the final account. Now adjustment, if there is adjustment, you should remember adjustment should have two effect. So always provide two effect, for that you can pass the journal entry so that you can provide easily two effect, right? Adjustment for preparing of the final account, we need to trial balance and some adjustment, and for that balances item has given means trial balance item has given only one effect and adjustment should have two effect, right? But adjustment have two effect, that is the past journal entry for each adjustment and accordingly provide the two effect जैसा we use everywhere, right? So like this you can do, like we had used debtors provision for doubtful debts, one specific adjustment that is also you can use. But for any adjustment like a basic adjustment, you can use expenses paid plus outstanding less prepaid, right? So accordingly outstanding expense and prepaid expense. Then RDD is one of the very important adjustment where mostly students get confused. So it is charged on trade receivable, or you can say debtors. So first we charge bad debts on trade receivable. So debtors less bad debts, whatever percentage given in the question. Then balance on which we write RDD, right? Reserve for doubtful debt. Then that will become net reserve. This is the net debtors. So RDD change, how we write bad debts plus closing RDD less opening RDD. If opening RDD anything is there, then opening RDD will be subtract, right? So RDD net amount you can provide, bad debts anything it is charged in the P&L account, closing RDD will be added less opening RDD if it given the trial balance, like I had mentioned in the trial balance time that opening RDD is given, so that is credit side. So net P&L account you can write this amount, right? So these are the adjustment. Now how to solve the problem that I had already discussed with you. So that how to solve the problem step is for the solving the problem, but basic accounting meaning, that is trial balance, trading account, P&L account, and balance sheet, we already discussed. And how to solve the problem is for the final accounting solving purpose, where we make the format as per we had used the format above, right? So we had make the 3 steps for the making problem for any type of final account problem, right? What these 3 steps? Yes, everyone say step 1 is format, where we write all format for trading account, P&L account and balance sheet. Means we'll not wait for making the trading account only. We'll make trading account, balance, P&L account and balance sheet all together, so that whatever effect is required can give immediately. Okay, so format is how to make the format. So for that first page we make trading and P&L account, entire page. Maybe it is used fully or not, but we still make the first page. And second page we make the balance sheet format, and if any adjustment, then on second page remaining part we can make, so that all 3 accounts we can prepare together. Okay, now step number 2, where we make all start problem with adjustment, so that adjustment should have 2 effect, and then check the trial balance item, any trial balance item, it should have 1 effect. So step 2 will provide effect of all adjustment and trial balance item, either in trial trading account, either in P&L account or in balance sheet. Then after that closing procedure, that is all questions are done, then we definitely close the account. So first we close the trading account, then we close the P&L account, and then we close the balance sheet. Balance sheet must be tallied. The trading account gross profit will transfer to net profit, means P&L account, and P&L account net profit will transfer to balance sheet, add in the capital because it's a proprietor account, and then we close the closing capital, and then we close the trial balance sheet. It must be done, right? So friends, these are your final account, and it is the common part which is used in the each question, because in each question we have to use these 3 steps, whether it's any difficult or any simple question. So now we do the question from your module on these 3 step basis, which is 80% part common in the each question, as I had mentioned in the beginning, right? Remember now, first we had discussed hard work, CA 2 parts. You remember that hard work you need to do, definitely you are doing, because you are still with me from the last 3-4 hours. So that is hard work is showing. Second part is planning, which I had discussed in 3 parts. That is connectivity. You have to use your common concept. You have to use your previous thing. Like final account, you had already used in 12th class. So you have to use the same concept. Accrual system we have to follow. All concepts are same. And second part, summarize the syllabus. That is 80% common. So 80% common is what? That is the 80% common. Step 1, 2, 3, which we use in each question. Now step 3, that is notes. I had already read the notes, and that notes I had already given to you. So that notes you have to make for the revision purpose, and these steps we use in the solution of each question. Okay, so now we do the question of final account from your module. I think before it, we should take the break. Okay, so after break, we do the question. Now you have break for around 1:30 is there. So we meet 3 o'clock. Okay, so 3 o'clock we'll start again with the remaining part of final account. And any doubt, any question will be solved on that time. Okay, friends. So now let's have the break, and we'll make 3 o'clock again to complete the final account part. So final account done, then partner account we'll do tomorrow, and accordingly next day we plan. Okay. Any doubt, any question? मजा आया कि नहीं friends? Because these things are basic account used in the each chapter, each subject of account, means each chapter of account, right? So hope all you understood. Any question, any doubt, please let me know. And if you enjoy, please thumbs up. Okay. So now let's have the break. We'll see you again at 3 o'clock. Thank you.